I'd like to welcome you to Thursday's edition of Walk Through Romans. Today we're going to be in Romans, the 8th chapter, starting with verse number 22. Now, the Apostle Paul has been talking about creation. He's not talking about mankind up to this point. He's talking about creation, the creation of the world. He's talking about nature. We can, maybe put it that way. And he says that creation was really roaming around in worthlessness. It was roaming around in not being fruitful. How many of you know that a farmer has to plant a field every spring? If you're in the garden, you have to create new plants every spring. The animals have to recreate every spring. But you know what? There's going to come a day when that's going to stop, and creation is going to continue on without any death, without any corruption. Now, verse number 22 says this, "For we know that the whole creation groans and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now." The whole of creation. He's talking about all of the universal creation. He is not talking about mankind yet up to this point. He's talking about all of creation, the whole world. All of creation and the whole world. What's it doing? It says that the whole creation, it groans. Paul is talking about something that's groaning. It's talking about something that it's in agony. It knows that something needs to change. One of the ways that we can translate this word groaning is sighing. It sighs. Oh. How many of you have ever sighed? I think the older I'm getting, the more I sigh. Oh. But you know what? The earth, the whole creation is sighing. And then the Apostle Paul goes on and he says that it's suffering from birth pains. The word suffering here actually means, and it defines the pain that a lady has during birth. How many of you know that when a woman gives birth, she goes through birth pains? She goes through what we call labor. It is not nice. I've been there. You understand? It's a time of pain, but it's always a pain with an expectancy of a new birth. You know what I believe? I believe that nature knows that things are going to change. That I believe that nature is realizing we're going through this pain, but it's going to change. Now let's go on into verse number 23. Not only this, but we ourselves, notice the Apostle Paul has changed things here. Now he's talking about mankind, and he's talking specifically about believers. And so he says, not only this, but we ourselves, having the first fruits of the Spirit. Every believer has the first fruits of the Spirit of God on the inside of them. And he goes on and he says, even we ourselves groan within ourselves. Notice this groaning is coming from on the inside of us. This sighing, this thing of, oh, Jesus, come today. Jesus, I'm expecting you. This sighing is coming on the inside of us. And then he says, waiting eagerly for our adoption as sons, the redemption of our body. When he's talking about the adoption of sons, he's talking about the complete adoption. And then he clarifies that by saying this, the redemption of our body. How many of you know your spirit man is redeemed? It was born again. The day that you accepted Jesus as the Lord of your life, your spirit man was redeemed. Your mind, your soul is in the process of redemption. But your body is going to be 100% redeemed someday. I'm going to pick up a new body. This body of flesh is going to be transformed by the Spirit of God on the day of the rapture. And I am going to have a new body. You're going to have a new body. And that's the body that the Apostle Paul is talking about. Now going on to verse number 24. For in hope, what is hope? It's an expectancy of the future. For in hope we have been saved. How many of you know that hope is the foundation of faith? If you don't have something to hope for, you have nothing to believe in. Think about that. For in hope we have been saved. But hope that is seen is not hope. How many of you know that if you see something, it's not hope? It's not an expectancy of the future. It's having something now. Not hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what is already seen? What's the Apostle Paul talking about? The Apostle Paul is talking about we as believers have this expectancy of something that's going to happen. We have been saved. He says, in hope we have been saved. We have been saved because we have a hope that we can be redeemed. We have a hope that Jesus is coming back. We have our hope set on what Jesus not only has done, but will do for us. And because of that, we are saved. Saved totally, saved completely. And again, I believe that the Apostle Paul has got his eyes on the rapture of the church. And he's seeing this. He's seeing that someday the church is going to be caught up, is going to be taken away. But by the way, the writing of this is very close in the association of Paul's writing to the Thessalonians. The Apostle Paul has an understanding of the rapture of the church. Verse number 25, for if we hope for what we do not see, with perseverance. In other words, we don't quit, but we continue to hope. With perseverance, we wait eagerly for it. I believe every believer has this expectancy on the inside of him. Jesus is today the day that I see you face to face. That is our hope. I hope that you've enjoyed this today. God bless you. Join us again tomorrow as we continue this study in Romans.